10. Pelagornis sandersi, around 25 million years ago. A bird called the Pelagornis sandersi filled the Earth's skies. It was the largest flying bird that ever existed, with a wingspan measuring between 20 and 24 feet, 6.1 to 7.4 meters across, more than twice the wingspan of the largest modern living bird, the wandering albatross. Knowledge of the P. sandersi is based on the only fossil of the species that's ever been found. It was discovered in 1983 during the construction of a new terminal at Charleston International Airport in South Carolina. Back when the species existed, global temperatures were higher than they are today, and the area where the fossil was found was part of an ocean. After the fossil's initial discovery, it sat in storage and was forgotten about until 2010. And in 2014, it was finally identified as a new species. In recent years, findings have revealed that P. sandersi was so large that some scientists have doubted its ability to fly. Based on the predominant scientific theory of the mechanism by which birds fly, the extinct bird would have been too heavy to lift itself off the ground. But most modern researchers now agree that P. sandersi somehow flew, likely because it had a relatively small body and long wings. It had short, stumpy legs, and scientists believe it was only able to fly by jumping off high cliffs. However, it still reached impressive flying speeds of up to 37 miles per hour, 60 kilometers per hour. P. sandersi didn't just fly sometimes. It spent most of its time gliding over the ocean, much like the modern albatross. Its closest living relatives are chickens and ducks. Scientists are currently working to understand more about how the species evolved and why it went extinct. 9. ARGENTINOSAURUS. The largest known dinosaurs that ever existed were from a plant-eating family of giants called sauropods. The biggest among them, at least that we know of, was the Argentinosaurus. It's named for the country where a human-sized fossil was found on a ranch in 1987. The rancher who discovered the bone initially thought it was a chunk of wood, but it was later identified as the single vertebra of a new dinosaur genus. No complete skeletons of Argentinosaurus have ever been found, so scientists can't say for sure how big it was, but they believe it may have been anywhere from 121 to 131 feet, 37 to 40 meters long, and that it weighed between 99 and 110 tons, 89,811 to 99,790 kilograms. Even these estimates could be wrong, but there's no doubt that Argentinosaurus was among the largest dinosaurs ever to exist. It was a member of the Titanosauria group of giant sauropods that roamed the Earth during the Cretaceous period. All known Argentinosaurus fossils came from deposits dating between 96 and 92 million years ago. In addition to the single vertebra that marked the creature's first discovery, experts have also come across several other vertebrae and an entire femur. So far, there's only one known species, although it's possible that more are waiting to be discovered. 8. Titanoboa. 60 million years ago, the jungles of what is now northeastern Colombia were home to the biggest snake in history. Members of the now extinct genus, known as the Titanoboa, grew up to 50 feet, 15.24 meters long, and weighed as much as 2,500 pounds, 1,134 kilograms. Measuring up to 3 feet, 1 meter wide at their widest point, they were much larger than the modern record holder for size, the green anaconda, which only reaches lengths of up to 30 feet, 9.1 meters. The Titanoboa evolved to its enormous size just 5 or 6 million years after the dinosaurs went extinct. Some scientists believe the species grew to accommodate the void that dinosaurs left at the top of the food chain, making them the apex predators of their environment. However, some scholars are rethinking that theory after the discovery of skull bones, which indicate that the Titanoboa may have preyed mainly on fish. There's also conflicting theories on whether these massive reptiles hunted like ambush predators or attacked prey like modern boa constrictors. But one thing experts do agree on is that they swallowed their prey whole. The titanoboa only existed for around 2 million years before it went extinct. It's commonly thought that the cold-blooded prehistoric giants succumbed to a cooling climate, which resulted from shifting tectonic plates that disrupted ocean currents. 7. Blue whale. The blue whale is the largest known animal to ever exist, sometimes exceeding lengths of up to 98 feet, 29.9 meters, more than twice the length of a school bus. And they can weigh as much as 216 tons, 195,952 kilograms. There are 4 or 5 subspecies, which dwell in different regions but are similar in size. And interestingly enough, female blue whales are larger than males. The species is a member of the Balaenopteridae family, which evolved sometime between 10.5 and 5 million years ago. The oldest known evidence of a modern blue whale was found in Italy and dates back to sometime between 1.5 and 1.25 million years ago. As baleen whales, blue whales are filter feeders who ingest plankton and other tiny creatures. While it looks like they could crush virtually any other creature that crosses its path, it has no desire or need to do so. And while blue whales are undeniably massive, scientists know relatively little about this elusive and solitary species. They're almost always on the move, and humans rarely get close enough to study one at length. But we're learning more about them as experts make it a point to explore our oceans more thoroughly. And we know enough to understand that their population is just a fraction of what it used to be, due to human factors. One major goal among ocean conservationists is to restore the blue whale population to its previous numbers, and to learn more about them in the process. 6. Paraceratherium. Modern rhinos are known for their large size, but they'd be considered small by their ancestor, the Paraceratherium, which stood over 20 feet, 6 meters tall. Paraceratherium was one of the largest mammals that ever existed. It lived between 34 and 28 million years ago, and is known based on fossils found in what is now Pakistan. The species inhabited a vast territory throughout modern-day Eurasia, between China and the Balkans. Unfortunately, scientists don't know the exact size of the Paraceratherium because the fossils that have been found are incomplete. However, they know enough to say with confidence that it towered over today's rhinos and was just as powerful, if not more so, than its modern counterparts. Based on the evidence, experts believe Paraceratherium weighed anywhere from 15 to 20 tons, 13,608 to 18,144 kilograms. To give you an idea of how big that is, a modern rhinoceros is typically between 4 and 6.5 feet, 1.2 to 2 meters tall, and weighs no more than 6,000 pounds, 2,721.5 kilograms. Unlike today's rhinos, the Paraceratherium didn't have tusks. Instead, it had large tusk-like incisors. It lived in a variety of environments, including arid deserts and humid tropical rainforests. Due to its size, the species likely had few predators, and it would have dominated its territory. The reasons for its extinction are unclear, but its slow reproduction rate may have contributed to its demise. 5. Gigantopithecus blacki. The largest living primate is the eastern gorilla, with full-grown males standing between 5 foot 7 inches, 170 centimeters, and 6.5 feet tall, 2 meters. Many of these primates weigh between 300 and 460 pounds, 136 to 209 kilograms. That's quite large by today's standards, but a much bigger primate existed between 300,000 and 2 million years ago in what is now southern China. The now extinct species, dubbed Gigantopithecus blacki, stood at around 10 feet, 3 meters tall, making it the tallest known primate to ever exist. Scientists discovered the first evidence of the species in 1935, when they uncovered 2-million-year-old molars of enormous size. Since then, thousands of teeth and jawbone fragments have been identified as belonging to the species. Experts haven't been able to extract the DNA of the Gigantopithecus blackie so far, and its exact place in the primate family tree remains unknown. But they've gotten as far as they have by reverse engineering the creature's DNA through a study called proteomics, which analyzes the proteins found in the teeth and bone fragments. The findings revealed that the creature was an ancient distant cousin of the modern-day orangutan. G. blackie is currently the largest of several prehistoric Gigantopithecus species that have been discovered. Some believe that the famed mythical Bigfoot is a member of the genus, but scientists think that all Gigantopithecus species went extinct long ago. 4. Giant ground sloth. Megatherium americanum, known more commonly as the giant ground sloth, lived in what is now South America between 400,000 and around 8,000 years ago. It was up to 10 times larger than the size of modern sloths, measuring up to 20 feet, 6.1 meters long, and weighing as much as 8,800 pounds, 3,992 kilograms. Fossils belonging to M. americanum have been found in modern-day Argentina, Uruguay, and Bolivia. The findings include bones with cut marks, showing that these prehistoric giants lived alongside and were preyed on by humans for at least a portion of their existence. Despite its massive size, chemical analysis of M. americanum's teeth show that the species was herbivorous, meaning it had a strict vegetarian diet. Interestingly, it was capable of standing and walking on its hind legs, making it the largest bipedal mammal to ever exist. Unlike today's sloth, the giant ground sloth most likely lived on the ground, rather than in the trees, due to its size. Like modern sloths, they're distantly related to both armadillos and anteaters, despite bearing almost no visible resemblance to either creature. 3. JAEKELOPTERUS. JAEKELOPTERUS was discovered in 2007 and is a member of a group of creatures known as arthropods, which includes insects, spiders, and crabs. Measuring more than 8 feet, 2.5 meters long, it was the largest known arthropod to ever exist. JAEKELOPTERUS was an early relative of modern sea scorpions. It lived in ancient freshwater lakes and rivers around 400 million years ago. Unlike its modern descendants, it rarely entered oceans, although it most likely lived alongside other prehistoric sea scorpions and similar creatures. There are 2 known JAEKELOPTERUS species, the mega-sized J. renaniae, which lived in parts of what is now western Germany, and J. howelli, which lived in the modern-day state of Wyoming. J. howelli, however, was much smaller, reaching an average length of just 2.6 feet, 0.8 meters. Scientist Simon Brady, who led the groundbreaking study that identified J. renaniae, described it as a huge monster and an ambush predator. He said that the creature lurched forward and attacked its prey before tearing it to shreds and eating the small pieces. It was most likely an apex predator within its ecosystem. While the size of some massive prehistoric creatures can be attributed to elevated oxygen levels in the air, scientists don't know how or why JAEKELOPTERUS grew to be as large as it was. Giant sea scorpions existed before the oxygen boost, and experts have yet to come up with an explanation for their colossal size. 2. Giant short-faced bear. At least 2 massive bears lived during prehistoric times, including the North American giant short-faced bear and the South American giant short-faced bear. Until recently, the North American giant short-faced bear was the largest of its kind to ever exist, tipping the scales at around 2,500 pounds, 1,134 kilograms. However, that record was shattered by its South American counterpart, which weighed up to 3,500 pounds, 1,587.6 kilograms, and stood between 11 and 14 feet, 3.4 to 4.3 meters tall. To give you an idea of how today's bears stack up, the largest bear to be killed in modern times was a 2,200-pound, 998-kilogram polar bear that was shot in Alaska in the 19th century. According to National Geographic, the South American giant short-faced bear lived between 2 million and 500,000 years ago. At the time, it would have been the largest and strongest meat-eating land mammal. In fact, no other terrestrial carnivore would have come close, based on paleontologist Blaine Schubert's research, who co-authored a study on the species. The study analyzed a partial skeleton that was found in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 1935, enabling scientists to calculate the creature's body size with a somewhat reliable degree of certainty. In other words, even if their calculations were slightly off, there's absolutely no doubt that the South American giant short-faced bear reigned supreme during its time on the planet. 1. The largest rodent ever. Josephoartegasia monesi was the largest known rodent to ever exist. It lived in what is now Uruguay and other parts of South America sometime between 4 and 2 million years ago, based on the handful of known fossils that have been found. Its skull measured roughly 1 foot, 0.3 meters, 9 inches, 23 centimeters, about the same size as the skull of a modern-day cow. Experts estimate that its body would have been a little over 8.5 feet, 2.6 meters long, and that the average specimen would have weighed between 1,060 and 1,100 pounds, 480 to 500 kilograms. In addition to being massive in size, J. monesi had an extremely powerful bite, and its skull was built to withstand a bite force larger than its own. It may have used its teeth to crack nuts and dig burrows, or they could have been used for self-defense against predators. Despite its formidable bite, the creature mostly ate plants. J. monesi lived in a forested environment alongside an array of other large prehistoric creatures, including ground sloths and large flightless carnivorous birds known as terror birds. Would you rather see the most ferocious and biggest dinosaurs brought back to life, or see Ice Age megafauna roam the Earth once more? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.